Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 1st to the 15th money and career reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries, September 1st to the 15th, money and career, Aries. September 1st to the 15th, money and career, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Alright, at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have Pisces energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Pisces, that's going to be coming through quite powerfully. We have the moon right here. Or if we have Pisces within our natal chart. Then we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. Same thing. If we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, that's going to be coming through very powerfully to root us. And then we have the Death card, Scorpio energy. So again, if we have Scorpio within our natal chart, that is going to come through very powerfully. There is a sense of something revealed within darkness that we have once feared and starting to bring us a sense of, it's accomplishment, because that's what Spirit is saying. It's like there's a sense of accomplishment that comes forward, but there's also a sense of balanced understanding. It's like, oh, well, that's why. That's why I had to go through this. This is why I had to gain this understanding. We have the Three of Swords, heartbreak, pain, and disappointment. We have the Six of Swords. We're moving forward, and we're going to find that this heartbreak kind of wants to stop us, which is very interesting because we have this transformation coming forward here. And then it brings us to the Nine of Pentacles. It's like this heartbreak wants to stop us from embracing what our heart says to celebrate, what our heart wants us to step into. So there's something here that's coming forward for us that we're going to think, oh no, well, I can't really because I'm not like perfect yet. I haven't figured it all out yet. And here's the thing, we never will. We never will have all the answers. Sometimes it's just being able to understand the questions that is everything. And it brings us to the world. It really brings us to the world opening in a way that we hadn't expected. It moves us to the Four of Wands. It moves us to a place of celebration, happiness, home, success, stability. This is the minor arcana wedding card, there is a sense of celebration and joy coming forward. It's kind of like, what am I married to? And it can be during this time I'm married to my career, or during this time I'm like married to my kids. Not literally, because that's weird, but in that figurative sense of, this is what I'm giving my time and my effort and my everything to. And it moves us to the Eight of Wands, and that starts to move us forward very, very quickly, because we're seeing what it is that we want, and we're saying, this is where I'm focusing my energy. And this is going to be at a time where it's almost as if we focus our energy on one thing and one thing alone, we rocket ship forward. So if we have other responsibilities, it's kind of like we're not single, we're not only taking care of ourselves, we have other responsibilities. So it might be that we can't just focus all our energy on just ourselves. Or it could be that we can. If we can, this is going to be the time. Find that thing that is so intrinsically important. It also has to do with a heartbreak. It's kind of like, almost like you were told like you can't do it, Aries. And then you find now that you absolutely can, and it starts to just propel you forward. If you have other things to balance out, this is going to be a time where you really have to be very kind of strict and regimented with yourself. Have a good routine or structure set up to say, I'm letting myself be able to embrace, move forward, go after this, because this is intrinsically important. And if I let it fall to the wayside, I'm going to regret it, or I'm going to feel less fulfilled over this time. Now let's look at the chakra energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. It's Cernunnos. Now Cernunnos is the devil energy. This is Capricorn energy, but Cernunnos isn't exactly the same as the devil. Cernunnos is the god of chaos. And so this is going to be the time when we realize that every action has a positive or negative reaction. And this is going to be a time where we're really looking at chaos and saying, what is going to happen when I am embracing this forward? Like, when I am moving this way, what is it that has led me to this point? And because we have here the couple that has, made love or fallen asleep on the grass together, and you have chaos looking over them and saying, there's a consequence that comes from this, whether it be a really great consequence or whether it be a not so great one. There is still going to be a consequence, and chaos doesn't care. It doesn't care the way that we think it should. There's this sense of the heart needs to move forward. We need to understand that chaos is a point and a part. And so we're going to be very drawn to people of chaos, people who really don't care about the responsibilities of things the way that they probably should. And we're going to find that very, very, very exciting. It's kind of like, why don't you just try it? Why don't you just go after it? Why don't you just do this thing that is reckless or irresponsible or whatever? Because, and Cernunnos is saying here, be very, very mindful, because everything has a consequence during this time, whether, again, it be a good one or a negative one, a positive or a negative reaction. And I like it. My little Aries downstairs is having a little bit of a hissy fit. My nephew, I don't know if you can hear him. So let's see here. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And this is clarity. This is the third eye chakra. So much is opening up for ourselves. We're going to see so much more understanding coming to us if we let ourselves embrace our third eye, if we let ourselves embrace our intuition and our understanding and what we desire and what we want and what we need, and the way that spirit is leading us forward and aligning us and saying, there's a point to this, understand it. Like, embrace the clarity that comes through, embrace the depth of color and understanding that can be seen through the crystals. And that leads us then to the moon. There's so much that's going to be revealed through darkness. It isn't going to be a time where the world is dark to us. It is going to be a time where we start to see the light more clearly. It's kind of like in the darkness, it's the only time you can see the stars. And so here we're going to find that we are mapping our way slowly and steadily, but through the quiet means, through the means of night, through the means of guiding ourselves forward, and through the means of also transformation, the full moon to the new moon, and the way it waxes and wanes. And this is going to be a time where we find that true for ourselves. We have moments where we're full of confidence, when we're full of determination, and we wax and we wane, and we have moments of complete introspection with the new moon. And so here, when we're embracing the moon, we're also embracing different ways to move forward, different understandings of ourselves. We're looking at things with open and honest connection, and we're also seeing ourselves powerfully and purposefully. There's going to be a sense that the shadows try to stop us, fear tries to stop us, fear tries to hold us back, and that's okay, Because as we face this fear, and that's going to be so important to our inner selves, we start to see ourselves transforming. And that's what brings us to this place of balance. So during this time with money and career, there's the clarity that comes through. There's a sense of recklessness that wants to kind of tear us down. We have to face our fears. We have to look at things with openness and honesty and determination to bring us balance. Balance is going to be so important during this time, because if we do not have the balance, we don't have anything. And so here, it starts to transform. It starts to have us seeing things more openly and more honestly, more tenaciously, with greater understanding. And as this comes forward, we start to balance ourselves. We start to say, okay, this is what I fear. This is how I'm transforming. This is where I want to be. I am finding that balance. I am finding that harmony. I am finding that greater understanding of me. And so the temperance comes and says, this is the balance that I need to embrace the prosperity that I want. The prosperity is at our heart. And as we embrace it with our career, with our passion, with our desire, things start to move really quickly in the waking world. But at our root, we have the death card. There's a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new. The old way that we were doing it isn't necessarily going to work during this time. That's why we have to embrace clarity. That's why we have to connect with our third eye chakra. The energy is going to be so important. What energy am I putting forward? Even when we're exhausted, it's like, okay, what energy am I putting forward while I work, while I go after my goals, while I do what it is that is important to me? Is it the energy of exhaustion, or is it the energy of, I'm in the space that I need to be in? I'm embracing what I need to embrace. I need to do this for X amount more hours, minutes, seconds, and then I can let myself have a bit of a break. But with the death card, we are going to see ourselves transforming. We're going to see ourselves stepping out of the shadow of who we once were. And that leads us to being able to gather up our knowledge, gather up our understanding, and move ourselves forward to say, there's more here than meets the eye, and I have to embrace it. I have to go after it. I have to claim it for me. And as we do so, we enter into deep waters. There is a sense of anxiety, there's a sense of fear, there's a sense of doubt, there's a sense of excitement, that beautiful, chaotic excitement that comes before something big. And yet, as we're moving forward, what we hit is the Three of Swords that says, don't you dare. Don't you dare move out of the fetal position. Don't you dare embrace the bigger dreams. Don't you dare go after what is desired and wanted and needed and powerful and beautiful. Don't you dare. Stay small. Stay quiet. Don't be seen. And even if you're not content, let them believe that you are contented within that role, because then nothing terrifying will ever happen, or it will try to make it not happen. And what's going to happen is that this just calls forward that pain more. It calls forward that pain and that chaos. And we can see it. We can see it in places where, let's say we have no self-confidence, right? I'll use myself as an example. I was a bit deaf and blind as a child. I then have, absolutely severe dyslexia, ADHD, all this stuff that once, the blindness and deafness was taken care of, was discovered. And so school was always really hard. And I never had any self-confidence. I always thought everybody was worth more than I would ever be worth. And I wound up finding not only relationships that, perpetuated that, but also careers that perpetuated that. And as I grew, and that insecurity of younger years grew with me, it permeated every single aspect of my existence. And so here, it could be through a bad relationship that we had, where the person took away our self-confidence, made us feel like absolute gorgeous, absolute garbage. And instead of feeling like the gorgeous individuals that we are, we started to feel less and less and less. And people say, you can't give away your power. No, somebody cannot take away your power unless you give it. But here's the thing. If you're in an abusive relationship, and it doesn't mean that it has to be a romantic relationship, an abusive friendship, an abusive, childhood, an abusive whatever, that haunts you. That stays with you, and that wears you down. And so the Three of Swords is like, okay, I've had these tough roads. I've lost the job that I loved, or I didn't get the career path that I thought I should be on. And hurt and pain and disappointment came. And I was stabbed in the back, and I was doubt, and I was fear, and I was chaos, and I was fight or flight. And I was revved off to an 8, and I was stressed, and then a 9, and I was overwhelmed, and then a 10, and everything just felt like I was walking on a powder keg. But now I take my fear and I see it, because it's at our root. Seeing the fear, seeing the truth behind the shadows. And now it becomes what I'm armed with. The fact that if I can walk through this, I can walk through anything. If I can conquer this, I can conquer my whole entire life. And if I can be powerful here, looking at the hurt and the pain that tried to break me, all of a sudden I can call forward that wealth that makes me think that there are horizons. There are new horizons for me. Makes me know that there is more out there for me than I could ever have imagined. I start to embrace the bounty, the beauty, and the brilliance of myself. I call this forward with tenacity, understanding, and purpose, and nothing and no one gets to stop me. The Nine of Pentacles is saying, yes, there's going to be hard work to come. Yes, there are going to be twists and turns that we can't always plan for. But now is the time to embrace the moment. During this time, we can live in the past, we can live in the future. That's going to corrupt us. But if we live in the power of the moment, if we give our intention and our focus in the moment and say, this is what I'm rocket shipping forward in, all of a sudden, the world starts to change for us. All of a sudden, there's clearer meaning. Even if we make mistakes along the way, which as human beings we always do, we start to see the lessons from there. We start to see the purpose guiding us forward, and it leads us to the world. It leads us to the world opening to us emotionally. If we emotionally feel like the world can open to us, if we can emotionally feel like there is a purpose and a power and a tenacity and a greater understanding guiding us, we can do anything. Because it's when we feel like all the doors are shut, when all the doors are shut. And now we start to feel like, wow, I'm stepping out of that shadow of who I once was. Or I'm stepping out of that shadow of that curse that was put on me. And a curse is nothing more than negative words spoken over us that weasel their way into our mind, that repeat themselves time and time again when we feel low, when our energy vibration is base. And it starts to deplete us. The world is saying here, get rid of it. Get rid of it. It might not ever be gone. You might always hear that nasty, spiteful, hurtful voice when things get tough. But what happens is it doesn't get to destroy you. It just doesn't. During this time, Aries, we are not destroyed. We're the fighters, we're the warriors, we're the succeeders. We are the champions during this time. And the world opens to us, opens to our hearts in a way that at a point we almost gave up on. And as we embrace the tenacity and the power, we start to celebrate in the waking world. And even if there's nothing to celebrate, even if people look at us and think, what the heck are you doing? Like, why are you so happy? There's millions of things you don't have. But it's like, yeah, but there's millions of things that I do have. And I'm starting to celebrate and embrace and be empowered to say, this is what I want, this is who I am, this is how I'm moving forward, and no one and nothing gets to stop me. I am laughing and dancing and enjoying. The Four of Wands is career. We are going to see new business opportunities open up to us. We are going to see new tenacity leading us forward. This is the time to take the risks. This is the time to go after. This isn't a time to be reckless, but it is a time to say, I'm here for me, and I'm here for the power that showing up brings. And it brings us to the Eight of Wands. Everything starts to change, especially around our career. Things start to move forward. Even if it's just within our own mind. It's kind of like, well, I could do this, couldn't I? I could, go in this direction instead of that direction. I could try this thing instead of just doing that thing. And all of a sudden, we start seeing options where before all we saw was drudgery. All we had was drudgery and doubt and fear and anger and upset. It opens up the door. It guides us in a direction that lets us shoot for the stars. It's like that old saying, shoot for the moon, you might just catch a shooting star. And that's going to be so powerful for us, so powerful to move us forward in. And it brings us to our rooted, our subconscious energy to be mindful of. This is going to be a time where it's really going to be easy to let the money guide us. It's really going to be easy to say, well, I could go after that promotion, or I could go after that job. I could do this, I could do that. And we'll have people around us and really want to be around the people who are super successful, who always talk money, who always talk work. We need to embrace our passion in our careers and what we want. Yeah, most definitely. But we also need to know that this is a time where we are purging ourselves of so much that has held us back. That if we make it all about the dollar, we will sacrifice and ignore a lot of the pain that needs to be addressed in loving, kind respect, and say, okay, I understand that this has hurt me. I understand that this has broke me. And I'm looking at it with honor and respect for the person that I was and the person that I am today. So we need to be very, very mindful of the people who just mock that, who really say, no matter what, keep on moving forward. No matter what, keep on going after the bigger, the better things. Never be satisfied. Always want more. That's what our world teaches us, because you'll just buy more. If you buy more, then consumerism is happy. But if you learn how to be content, and if you say, you know what, this is what I wanted, this is what I went after, this is what I got, I'm good. Then all of a sudden, that becomes the game changer. It brings us then to our subconscious chakra message, which is grounding. We need to ground ourselves. We need to look at what we're planting our roots into, how we are nourishing ourselves, how we are leading ourselves forward, what is feeding us, and how are we getting to where it is that we need to be. Because this is going to be a time where we can lose our grounding, where we could just think of, instead of the consequences or instead of what needs to feed us, we can just think of the action and the chaos and the moments of pleasure or the moments of like conquer instead of the long-term goals. So that's going to be very, very important. Remember, grounding is also really looking at the soil that is nourishing the tree, because plants need to be planted in certain types of soil. You don't plant, pine trees in non-acidic soil. So it's kind of like, okay, what do I need? What do I need? And why am I trying to have myself be something else? And that's going to be a very important thing. It's kind of like if I'm more sensitive during this time, which we are going to be, Aries, why am I trying to plant myself in a rocky, harsh soil that isn't going to care about the sensitivity, isn't going to care about the awakening from pain that I'm going through, isn't going to see me? I need to plant myself in lush, firm, nurturing soil, this type that you pick up and just is like this deep, dark, beautiful color that is I don't know, soil. It's all different, but it's like beautiful to the touch. It has that rich smell to it. So just being able to embrace that is going to be so important, to know what I need to feed me during this time. It leads us to our subconscious rooted message, which is judgment. And it's looking at our hearts and saying, is your heart light? And what this means is Anubis in ancient Egyptian times would always judge the heart against the feather. When a person passed, that was part of the mythology, that the heart was judged against the feather. And if the heart was lighter than a feather, the person would be admitted into paradise, into the beautiful afterlife. And here, it's like, are you carrying around a heavy heart, and why? Why is that heart weighing you down, pulling you down, denying you? And how do you release the weight of the heart so that it is lighter than a feather? It leads us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Seven of Pentacles. Patience. Patience for the prosperity that comes. Patience for seeing what you have built or what you have been working towards really starting to pay off. Have patience and don't undersell yourself. And don't think, oh, well, prosperity is for everybody but me. I don't get to because. No, you do. There is patience that is needed. There's a sense of divine timing, but there's also a sense of not trying to only walk down one path. It's kind of like, if this road isn't working for you, look around. See all the different things that you could do, or all the different ways that other people have utilized talents like yours, and start opening up the door and saying, okay, maybe this isn't working for me to do it this way, but I'm a fantastic makeup artist. I'm a fantastic, whatever. What I'm thinking of is, I had a friend who always wanted to be an actress, right? That's what she wanted to be. That was her goal. She was an amazing makeup artist, amazing with makeup. And she got in through makeup, and she works with, people on stage. But she got through with makeup, not by doing the acting herself. But she can express so much through the makeup. And so here, it's like, open up that door. Let yourself look at your talents. And if one door is closed to you, go through the other way. Open it up. Say, this is where I stand. This is who I am. This is what I want. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And we have the Five of Pentacles. Subconsciously, we have a poverty mentality, which is making it really hard for us to celebrate the prosperity, to see the prosperity that is coming, to see the bounty that gets to be a part of us. What is it through our trauma, that makes us think we're unworthy of wealth, or what we value as much as money? That we're unworthy of the promotion, that we're unworthy of the job that we want, we're unworthy of whatever. When we say, I'm unworthy, the voice inside of our head and instantly go, no, no, I'm not unworthy at all. Or does it say, I'm unworthy? You're right. I'm unworthy because XYZ. And this is where we look at, okay, where's the poverty coming from? Why is the poverty here? Why is it that I'm being held back? And when we say, I'm unworthy because, and we look at it, and we find that root word, we find those words that make up why we can't, we start meditating on them. We start looking at them. We start seeing the consequence that they've had within our lives. We can even write them down and just put a big X through it, or write it down and meditate on it. Meditate on why it's there, on what's holding you back, the imagery that comes up with it. Color around the word and see what colors come up, what energies come forward because of it. They keep the poverty mentality within us, because now it's time to release it. And it brings us to our subconscious public self. And that's the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But this is going to be a time where we can be a little bit sharp-tongued, but very focused on the facts and what needs to be done. The fact that we are a conqueror here, we are the warrior queen, and we're going to be moving forward. We're going to be going after what we want, what we need, and what we greatly desire from life. No one is going to hold us back during this time. We might speak a little bit too bluntly, and we also might be a little bit too focused on facts, so people could point that out to us. But this is going to be a time also subconsciously where we're focused on the goal, we're focused on our voice, we're focused on our tenacity forward, and nothing and no one stops us. Okay, all right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the prosperity to come. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.